What's going on, YouTube? I just saw the speech. Well, not just. I saw it a little while ago, but had some stuff to do. But Bill Barr just absolutely, like, the words that came out of his mouth almost came right out of my heart. Like, wow. Moral relativity and the left, not just in America, but all around the world. See, I was brought up in a Seventh-day Adventist home, and it would be a fair statement to say that I grew up in a house where moral relativity was my reality. And it put me where I am today. And it inspires me to do much of what I do. Not that I am a morally relativistic person. Quite the opposite. You know, when I was younger, I considered myself a Democrat. I'm going to draw a parallel. When I was a child, I thought as a child. And not knowing much about the world, all I had was a sense of rightness and wrongness. You know, children see the world in black and white. It's very simple. You're either doing the right thing or you're not. And I feel like some of us have gone far, far away. Far, far away from that childlike mindset. You know, but what Bill Barr, and I feel that, I should call him the Honorable Bill Barr, but he's not a judge. But he's an attorney general, so I don't know. I just feel like calling him the Honorable Bill Barr. He laid it down. He spoke the truth. And he might be talking about, Catholic this and Catholic that, but hey, listen, man. The essential message of what he delivered is what this country needs to hear. There is a deadness inside of quite a few people in this country and the world. There's a deadness to the pain of their fellow human beings. Something inside them has died. Something that should never be allowed to die. Their sense of childlikeness. Their ability to relate to the suffering and the anguish of their fellow human beings. And this has led, like Bill Barr and great men like him have said, to leftist policies like abortion in the 9th month, mass immigration, mass Islamic immigration, and it seems that while a new age is trying to dawn, one that rejects the principles of moral relativity and godlessness. When you wound an animal, it doesn't die easy. It fights because life wants to live. Even if that life is terminally corrupt, it wants to live. But see, this is why in one of the premier higher societies of the Western world, Sparta, where both girls and boys were trained to be savage defenders of their motherland. This is why when mothers and fathers gave birth to children that were aberrations from the healthy, though it wrenched their hearts to do so, because this is the fruit of their loins. This is the product of when they made love together. They would take the child and drop it off a cliff, because there is a rule, and the Spartans understood this very well, that only when a child is fully formed, free from defect, can it stand shoulder to shoulder with its brothers and sisters in its nation family to defend and strengthen its home. Only when a child is fully formed, healthy, non-deviant. And I'm not saying like, oh, you have, whatever. If you have defect or whatever, I mean, just look at the movie 300, Ephialtes. His parents did Greece a great disservice, because they chose to serve the good of the one, their own selfish, and I know it sounds harsh to say this, but their own selfish needs, or the love for their one child. They chose to disregard their love of all Grecian children, of their homeland. They chose to disregard this basic tenet of this cornerstone of national security, of the health of the nation state. They chose to put their one child ahead of all of Greece. All of the things that Greece stood for were less important than one life. This is the height of selfishness. This is what brought about the destruction and the devastation of the Grecian army. And this is what cost Leonidas and his brave 300 their lives at the hands of the caliphate. And what Bill Barr said today is so much needed, because so many people have decided that their wants, their thinking though it harm all of America and all of the world, though they could be the orchestrators of the rape of the Sabine women and of the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, they put their own interests beyond the interests of the nation, of the homeland. This is the height of selfishness. This is corruption. This is the root of corruption. Those of you who are citizens of the world, who are citizens of a nation, owe your very existence to that nation, and thus to the laws of the land. Because these laws are here that the nation may prosper, that you and your posterity may have a place in the national family and be privy to the resources and the benefits that come from obeying the ethical law of the land. But this is what? These are the things that the politicization of homosexuality, transsexualism. You see this 7-year-old boy, his mother is afflicted with Munchausen syndrome and is, the boy said it himself. He likes girls. So what does his mother do? She sends him to school as a girl with painted fingernails, with painted nails, as a girl. But the boy likes girls. He's a boy. He has an interest in girls, not boys. So, were this mother to put the best interests of her child before her own selfishness, instead of acting in criminal capacity, she would send her son to school as a boy. And instead, she has put her son with who has the support of his father, thankfully. He has somebody he can trust. She has put her son through all the grief that her selfishness can comprehend. And so we have too many of these kinds of people in this country. And what Bill Barr said today, it was powerful, it was much needed, and I pray that the movement to turn this country towards God and country and away from love of self, away from criminality, is not overturned by the filth of the earth. Those who go above and beyond the call of duty to impose their moral relativity and selfishness, criminal selfishness. It should be a crime. First and foremost, above the law of God, above the law of the living God, above the law of the land. And see, this is why I call out Linden Seventh-day Adventist Church. The moral relativity has sickened me ever since I was knee-high to myself. Seeing the impact of moral relativity and wanton selfishness has always driven me to rage. And I felt so vindicated when I read the Bible and I saw what it has to say about these people who do these horrible things, violating the will of decent people, violating the moral compass of decent people. Now that we have President Trump in the White House, let us pray without ceasing, because this is and I believe this is our last-ditch effort to secure the freedoms and the liberties that come from not putting self above home and nation. This is why adultery is a sin. This is why cuckoldry and murder and rape and lust, misplaced lust. This is why these things are considered evil, because they put self-interest beyond the good of the family, of the home, of the nation, of the team. You have a team of people that are all supposed to be on a mission to go about their lives in a way that is respectful and does not infringe on the freedoms of others. But we see that there are far too many, I want to say far too many. We see that a lot of people only care what they want. And they will lie, they will steal, they will murder, they will rape, they will do whatever they have to do to get what they, and only they, want. And if they had gotten their way, we would likely be at war with Iran. Donald Trump would not be in the White House. The Georgia Guidestones would be the law of the land. Carbon tax, mass Islamic immigration. Yeah. This would be our reality right now. It would be hell on earth for the selfishness of the few. Okay? And I'm not saying this because, oh, I'm a selfish person. No, 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 no. All I want is for my country to complete its return to morality, away from moral relativism. You know, growing up as a young member of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, I could have grown up a Christian, but the moral relativity, going to the officials of the church, whose job it is to assist in the maintenance of the integrity of the family unit, and by enforcing adherence to biblical law. When they tell you that it is not a pastor's job to enforce biblical law on pain of expulsion from the church, you know you have rampant corruption. And this is what pushes a lot of young people away from the church, because they see the world in black and white. You either do right or you do wrong. It's very simple. Listen, guys, vote red, because if you vote blue, moral relativity will become the law of the land. They will burn the Constitution worse than Obama ever did. We will go back into the Middle East to war and die forever. It will be hell on earth if we vote blue. If we elect Islamic public officials like Ilhan Omar. If we elect weak, spineless invertebrate jellies like Bernie Sanders. If we elect pedophiles like Joe Biden. And he has no chance of winning anyway. Who gives a crap? If we elect the sanctioners of murder and perpetual war like Hillary Clinton, there is only one way forward into morality, and that is through Trump. Believe it. Whether you like him, I mean, if you don't like the guy, then you must be for moral relativity. You must be for godlessness and Satanism. You must be for perpetual war, pedophilia. You must love MS-13. You must love the Mexican drug cartels. And you must be a fervent believer in the teachings of the Quran. It's just that simple. The wheat is now being separated from the chaff. And there must be enough wheat to feed the household. Otherwise, we will starve. But the things that, some of what Tim Pool says, a lot of what he says, it gives me hope, because these climate change, liberal, Islamic apologists who hate their own identity, they hate themselves enough not to have children. And even if they did have children, what values would they pass to these children? Homosexuality? Transsexualism? We know from history that these things cannot create sustainable societies. 1 plus 1 is 2. It's very simple. You either respect the rules of nature, or you die. Or you become sick, and you die. Because the wages of sin is death. We need to turn our face to the God of the living, or we will forever bear the yoke of the God of death. Vote red. Go in peace.